Hey, it's Kim. Thanks for clicking on today's video. I am here with a very special unboxing. And I say special because, well, all unboxings are special, but this is one that I did not anticipate purchasing. And also what I plan to do in this video is a comparison, like a deep dive between this and a few other items that are very similar in my collection, because I feel like the resources that are available to show these differences are pretty much not available. I don't really see many of them. So that's what I want to do today. I actually wanted this information for myself. So we're gonna find out together. So of course, because I have no chill and because, you know, there's no way I could just leave a box sitting unopened in my home. Of course, I already opened the box, so it's not a true unboxing in that way. So I did open it up and I took a look at it. But if you know anything about the Gillio world, you will know that this is a Gillio cover, but not just any cover. It's one of the ones from the Toscana line. And that's why it comes in this different kind of box with this little emblem. It's very, very nice box, very nice packaging. I'm definitely a sucker for packaging, and this one takes the cake. It's really nice, really good. It's a really hard box as well. So that's what this is. It's a Toscana leather cover, and we'll get right into it. And if you are not new around here, you know that my preferred size is standard traveler's notebook. So you may have guessed that what I have is the Gillio Giramondo, and I got the Giramondo Deluxe, and that's the one that has the strap, and what else makes it deluxe? I think the pockets on the inside, but ta-da, here she is. So this is the Giramondo Deluxe, and it's in the Toscana leather in the sand color. When I saw this, I was pretty much blown away, and I knew that I needed to have it in my life. So I'll tell you a little bit of backstory. I vaguely recall seeing the Toscana leathers when they were released and seeing that they had this sand option available. I'm not super into undyed, but actually as of late last year, I decided that I wanted to give undyed a try, and I was putting together I don't even know if I could find it, but I put together like this little spread of what my next custom was going to be that I was going to order from VDS, and it was going to be undyed. My issues with undyed are just, I don't always like the look of it after it patinas. I don't mind when it has, I should have found this first. Let me find it. So I wish I could find this spread that I put together, but I can't find it. I'm pretty sure it's in one of my older videos, but I was planning the next VDS custom that I was going to get, and I was going to get it in the undyed leather. So I was waiting until, you know, my budget allowed for that space. I only buy like planner things with discretionary funds. We don't do anything on credit. I may save up for some things. Normally I don't. So I was just, you know, kind of waiting to pull the trigger. Also, like I said, a little bit on the fence about the undyed leather because I don't love when it patinas. I don't mind if it gets like maybe a spot or anything on it here and there just from like living in it. I don't mind that, but what I don't like is when it turns way too yellow over time. And that's the part about undyed leather that I'm not entirely a fan of. But when I saw the Gillio sand, I loved it, first of all, because it's so, I was going to say pale. It is. It's so pale in comparison to usual undyed leather, but it doesn't have those yellow undertones that I don't like. So for that reason, I was thinking this would be a great option. And back then, I believe the only ones that were in this leather, I could be wrong, but I remember seeing the personal size Gillio Campagnas in this color. I don't do personal size, so that's not really my jam. But I noticed a few weeks ago, they did release these in the Giramondo leather. I feel like it was a restock, maybe. So they had previously released them. My ear has just not been to the streets. I just have not been in the Gillio streets. So I didn't know, you know, what's been going on. But I happened to stumble across it, and it released on a Tuesday. I checked like Wednesday. They were sold out. I said, that's fine. No big deal. I'm okay. You know, everything will be okay. But then Thursday morning, which was actually July the 4th, I was, you know, lounging in bed as one does, and I went to the website to just see. I just wanted to take a look, and they had some in stock. By the time I checked out, ordered, and then came back later in the day, it was sold out again. So I don't know what happened in the interim. I don't know if people canceled their orders or if they just, you know, did kind of like a little bit of a ghost restock. Don't know, don't care. The point is I was able to get my hands on one, and it arrived shortly thereafter. I did ask for photos, primarily because I wanted to make sure the coloring was as pale as I wanted. Like I said, I don't mind kind of like those nuances in the leather. I don't mind any of those, but I did want photos just to make sure it didn't have any imperfections. This is a first quality piece, so in that regard, it shouldn't have any imperfections. So I was really happy to receive it. Once I received the pictures, I said, yes, it's a go, let's do it. So then it did arrive to me within a few days, I think maybe 3 to 4. After it was shipped, and I did order it through DHL. So that came, I opened it really quickly. I didn't take a deep look at it, but I just wanted to make sure that, you know, of course, everything looked good and it was to my liking. And I will say that it is. So I'm really excited to have it in my collection. Getting more into the meat and potatoes of this video, I actually wanted to take some time to compare the Giramondo to the VDS or the Vanderspec Nomad, also to the Moterm Companion Traveler's Notebook. I can never get the name of this thing right. I feel like there's a lot of words, but it's the Moterm Companion Traveler's, no, they don't call it Traveler's Notebook. I don't know, Traveler's Companion, maybe that's what they call it. I'm not entirely sure, but I wanted to compare the 3 of these to each other to kind of see about the sizing, see about the fit, see how I'm gonna love it, because I'm sure I'm gonna love this one just as much as I love the others. I will say, even though I've been in Standard Traveler's Notebook for quite a while, I've never wanted to order a Giramondo Deluxe from Gillio. I have other Gillio covers. I really do love the Apoca leather. It's beautiful, but I've never wanted the Giramondo for a few reasons. I feel like it looks on the outside a lot bigger than the Vanderspec Nomad. That's one reason. Also, I'm not a huge fan of square corners on this size for some very, very, very weird reason that I really can't put into words. I don't know what it is. I like the slightly rounded corner. I'll actually pull out this one. Maybe you can see it a bit better, but I like the slightly rounded corner of the VDS Nomad. Also, one thing I don't like, this is really the main thing, I don't like when there are exposed elastics. I just don't like it, which is why when I ordered the Nomad, I have it in the Akume Nubuck. I did remove the back pocket and I removed the strings so that in not having a back pocket, I wouldn't actually see the strings on the back, because I don't really even use the back pocket. I only like order it so that it covers up the strings, because I am just weird like that, maybe. But I saw it in this color and I was like, let me give it a shot. Maybe the strings won't bug me so much, and I could always actually just take out the strings, considering the way that I use my Traveler's Notebook covers. I don't really use the strings much anyway, since I use a larger book inside of them. Okay, so this is my first Giramondo Deluxe from Gillio. Like I said, I want to kind of compare all of them, and I'm going to use the black one in this instance because I didn't have any adjustments made to this one. This is just when you order the VDS Nomad. With this one, I believe I added foam, so it's a lot squishier. So I just kind of wanted to give like right off the production line type of comparison, and I want to fill them all up as well. So I'm going to take, do I want to? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take the book out of this one. And this is my first Nomad that I got from VDS. And as with all, like, all of your children, you love them all for different reasons. So I love it and I will never let it go. But in comparing them side by side, I do feel like for whatever reason, and I don't know if it has to do with the square corners, probably not. I think the sizing itself, and I should put those details on the screen, but the actual sizing seems a lot bigger for the Giramondo. And then the next biggest one seems to be the Moterm and then the VDS. Because I like a really slim fitting cover, that's why I typically tend to choose the VDS Nomad. Also, you can customize it for them to, I don't know, make any different adjustments that you want. Oh, I should note, the other adjustment I got on this is the chunky clasp. So these two clasps are standard for these covers. With the VDS Nomad, it's a much thinner clasp, and I don't have one, or do I? No, I think this is a chunky clasp. Also, just not as big as that one. So I don't have one with the standard size clasp that comes with VDS. That's the only difference, I think. So here are the three of them lined up. Like I said, I think the sizing makes a big difference for me, but I do want to see what it looks like once I have everything inside and once I have everything set up. Before we get there, and I'll take this pin out. Before we get there though, I want to do a few visual comparisons to see if we can see if these are any different. I don't know. So these two, when I lay them down on top of each other, the width across the top seems very much the same. And we'll put this one right on top. Oh, and you can clearly see. So these are all lined up here on the right, and you can clearly see, wait a minute. You can clearly see that the VDS Nomad is slimmer than the Moterm and the Gillio. So that plays a large part in why I often opt for the VDS Nomad. And then when we line everything up, I'm trying to line them all up to the bottom. It does seem to be slightly shorter. So the Moterm seems to be slightly shorter than the Gillio, and I think maybe the Gillio and the VDS are the same height. So then my suspicions are confirmed. The Giramondo is a lot bigger. Well, I mean, I say a lot. When you look at it like this, it doesn't seem like a lot, but I feel like when you have just one book inside of it, it may feel like a lot. And that is also the thing with me. I don't put a lot of books inside of my cover, as I explained. I usually just use one thick book. Another thing that I thought about having these elastics, I was thinking about maybe changing the color of the elastics. That's something I definitely would invest in and do if this bothers me too much. And I think it does bother me. It's the contrast of the light and the dark color. Like if this was black and then these are black, maybe I wouldn't mind, but I say maybe, but the silver grommets would probably bug me. But anyway, so what I want to do now is fill all of the covers to see how they look with just the one planner inside. And I just conveniently happen to have all of my covers, or all of my planners from, I think, what is this, like 2021, 2022, 2023. This is 22. So 22, 23, and 24 is what I'll use. Take my current one out and put it in here. Now I'm just going to put in the back, and the reason is because lately I've been carrying my additional notebook that I've been using for finances, which I think I explained in my quarterly planner update. All right, so all of these now just have one book inside of them, and all the books are generally the same width. Admittedly, the 2024 is not quite as used as the others, so maybe this is not entirely a fair comparison, but what I will do is switch actually a more used one over to this cover and just see how much it gaps or anything. But as you can see here, it does gap a pretty good amount. So I feel like this cover, the Giramondo, is great if you want to have additional inserts in it. So if I take the other insert that I've been using, and maybe for this example, it might have been helpful, it might be helpful for me to also just chunk it up with as many inserts as I can find. So that's with the planner and another booklet. Still pretty wide, still pretty big. When I hold it, it doesn't feel all that big, but it does feel a little loose, which is not the feeling that I like. But I feel like the color of the leather certainly makes up for that. So that's how they fit, just with one chunky planner on the inside. I feel like this is great information to know if you are like me and you need visual representations and examples of how things fit or how they look together. So because I like a really, really slim fitting compact planner, I think the Nomad would always be my choice. The Moterm is a great option. This leather, which is the vegetables hands line, this leather is amazing. I do think it's really good quality leather. The only downside, I guess for me, is that I just wish they had other colors available. They have a lot of colors, but none of them really speak to me. So I don't know. Maybe if they came out with other colors, I may get another one. I'm on the fence about that. But then this color is just absolutely beautiful, and I'm excited to see how it will patina over the coming months when I do use this. I'm actually not quite ready to jump into it right now, but of course you guys will see it on my channel because I'm still loving my ostrich cover at the moment. All right, so now I think what I'll do is fill this up with booklets maybe. I don't know. Do we really need that visual? I don't know. But how about maybe if I put this along with a few other booklets? That's what I'll do. So I believe my stash of inserts, yep, is all in here. So let's just pull out a few open ones. How many should we do, guys? That one's not open. Let's pull out that one. All right, let's start with these. So I have one on the back strings, and on the inside there are 6 strings that you could use. Gillio strings them a little bit differently than other covers I've seen, but it looks like there are 2 usable strings for each set of grommets. I'm not sure if that makes sense. But if you know, you know. I think if you're used to using strings in like a traveler's notebook type of setup, you may understand what I mean by that. So here is one notebook on each set of strings. And of course it requires like adjustment to the side to compensate for this thicker book. But we do that, and then there's absolutely no problem snapping it shut. But as you can see, the book, the thicker book that I have in here, kind of leans a little weird on the spine. I don't have a problem with that. Someone else might. But yeah, it requires that I kind of slide these books over and then close it, which I wouldn't do. It's not something I would do every time I close my book, but those fit. And I do wonder if I can put one more booklet in here. I don't typically carry this many books, but it's great to know that I could. I just don't currently have a reason to carry this many books. Considering I do have a lot of different planners, this cover, I guess, could be a great option if I wanted to switch those separate planners, like my business planner, my work planner, my health and fitness planner, like if I wanted to switch them to be actual inserts. So this, I'm actually surprised by. It fits this larger book along with 4 inserts, and those are typical sized traveler's notebook inserts. So maybe like, I'm guessing 64 pages. Maybe the one with the Tomo River paper is closer to 80 or 90, not sure. But typical inserts that would normally go inside one of these. Now, the cover does come with 2 pin loops. So I imagine though, if these pin loops were full, I don't know. I imagine that it won't be so easy to close. So let's see. So that's 1 pin. I recognize using a fountain pen as the other pen may not be fair, right? Like, can this even fit in here? I should have maybe assessed that, because this is a tight fit. So this is a Pro Gear, Sailor Pro Gear. It's not even a slim. So it's the regular Pro Gear, and that is a tight fit. And with those 2 pins in there, no, it's not fitting at all. What if I try to put like a Tombow in here? It probably, nope, still won't clasp. All right, now just before I take one of these inserts out, I do kind of want to see if this pin is going to fit in here. It seems, it's probably the same size pin loop as the one in the front. All right, so now let's just take out one of these inserts and see if it still closes with the 2 pins. I feel like it could, but it's tight. Could it? Yeah, it could, but it's still kind of tight. A little tighter than I would prefer, but not terrible. So that's with the 3 booklets, this large book, and a Tombow marker and a pen, like a slimmer sized pen, not a fountain pen. All right, so that is how all the books would fit in here. I'm really glad to have added this to my collection. I was never previously the type of person to have multiple covers in the same size, but because I know that Standard Traveler's Notebook is like my size and I will always be in one, I've been okay with expanding my collection of Standard Traveler's Notebook covers. So I was really excited when I saw the Toscana Sand color being offered in the Giramondo, and I knew that it was a color that I wanted to try, and I am very happy to have added it to my collection, as I said. Oh, another thing that I did say I was going to do, I said I was going to put the thicker book, like the one that was completed for the whole year. Let me do that before we go. Oh, this, nope, that ink transferred. The last time I tried that, nope, not gonna try that. All right, so let's do this one. So this is a thicker planner book since it was used for the entire year. So that's how that fits. Oh, it does. I didn't think it would snap. It does snap still. So even with the fully puffed up planner book, it works. Again, I'm not typically going to be carrying multiple booklets inside of my planner. Would I even carry 2? I don't know. Oh, and that fits no problem. So it's a really great size, especially if you like to chunk up your covers. And again, for the 5th time, I am glad to have added this to my collection. If you have any questions about anything I've shown, I'll be sure to link Gillio down below in the description box. And any of my previous videos about my other covers, I will also link. in the description box and up in the cards. But if you have any other questions, definitely feel free to reach out and drop them down below and I'll get right back to you. Please don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if you actually like it. I would greatly appreciate that. Again, thank you so much for following along on today's video, and I'll see you in the next one.